Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. There's been a lot of rumors about Larence Okolie and why he left Eddie Hearn. Frank Warren is having a field day, seeing fighters leave Eddie Hearn, seeing fighters not take Eddie Hearn's offers to sign with the promotional outfit. But my thing is this, right? I really couldn't understand the Larence Okolie situation. I'm over here stateside. I read as many articles as I can. But from what I've gathered, and for any of you guys in the UK who's watching this who have a bit more insight, please feel free to share it in the comments, because sometimes these articles we read, that's not the raw and uncut. Okay? It's a real diluted version of everything. But what got my attention was when Larence Okolie said he and Eddie Hearn were never friends. He also said it was more of a business relationship. But then I read articles where he's talking about he was with Matchroom for several years. They did help his career. He even got to know the drivers and the staff very well. And he said Eddie Hearn has an idea of what he wants to do with a fighter in the fighter's career. And Larence Okolie said he had an idea of what he as a fighter wanted to do with his own career. Hooked up with another promotional outfit. The promotional outfit came, offered him a pretty sweet deal. And he said, you know what? As a WBO champion, I'm interested in maybe, taking that deal. And they offered him good money. But from what I'm gathering, he took that. Now this is where you learn when it comes to boxing, when it comes to business, right? There really are no friends. There are no friends. Because Okolie last fought in February, man, and now he's supposed to be fighting in March of this year, right, out in New Zealand, okay? But this is what really disappointed me.
With the personal support you need to succeed,
really
achieve your goals with a plan and team.
Is he brought this new deal to Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn wasn't willing to come close to even matching the new deal. And Eddie Hearn at that point said, you know what? If Okolie wants to talk to me, now this is what I'm getting from reading these. If he wants to talk to me, he's going to have to go through lawyers. And if he wants to take that sweet deal, he has to pay me 500,000 pounds. And it sounds like that's where things got a little uneasy and uncomfortable and got a little ugly. Because Okolie's, from what I understand, he felt more like I should be able to come and have a conversation with him. You guys remember Eddie Hearn bought him the Rolex? Oh, he bought him some expensive watch, right? He gave it to him. It was all on social media. Shit went viral. So to find out Okolie was leaving him, I was shocked. But at the same time, you can't blame these fighters for going out here trying to make the most money they possibly can. But then Okolie comes out and he starts to say some things about Eddie Hearn that Eddie Hearn didn't like. Eddie Hearn wants to sue him. And now you got this big legal spat going on. So for me, I think all of it was precludable. I just think, and I don't know this for a fact, this is my opinion, I just think Eddie Hearn got a little emotional, man. And he's been real emotional lately, always wanting to sue people. But I'm going to tell you what I think that's rooted in. I think that's rooted in his promotional outfit and DAZN taking huge financial losses. I really feel, and I could be wrong, and I don't mind if you guys tell me in the comments now you're a little off beam with your assertion, right? I think Eddie Hearn, his top guys, and I'm talking about Canelo, I'm talking about AJ, they've been losing. Eddie Hearn, the events he's been putting on stateside has just hemorrhaged money. And I think he's been under pressure for quite some time now to try to turn things around, to get out of the red as far as the financial losses, to somewhat get into the yellow, to where they're at cruise control, and eventually get into the green. That's why Eddie Hearn is just kind of he has spazzed out when Canelo lost. He's trying to force the Canelo, what's his name, Bivol rematch. He's trying to figure out the best move strategically for AJ because he knows he can't afford AJ to lose. He needs AJ to look spectacular, and he's going to milk AJ as long as he can to make as much money as he can, because I really think Eddie Hearn is obligated to repay a lot of money to the zone. I don't know that, but just me kind of watching, something isn't right. There was a noticeable change in Eddie Hearn's attitude, his energy. See, the first AJ loss, I'd say right after that first AJ loss. Right after that first AJ loss, there was a noticeable change. And you started to see it with the Chisoras fighting, losing, the Dillian Whites out there fighting. And then Eddie Hearn not wanting to resign guys. If they want to leave, they're free to leave. You saw with Eddie Hearn getting rid of Tevin Farmer, Andre. Eddie Hearn looking at these guys, getting rid of Vargas. You see, he just started cutting ties with fighters, letting them go. Even that move he made with Devin Haney, I think he wanted to keep him, but there really wasn't much money being made with Devin Haney. It was more him paying Devin Haney. And Devin Haney got the opportunity that Eddie Hearn would have liked to have, but he had to go over to Top Rank, which as a result, Eddie Hearn did the right thing and let him go. But who knows what Devin Haney had to pay Eddie Hearn in order to get out of that contract. So what I'm getting at is Eddie Hearn has been taking more losses than significant wins in the last few years, and I think that's hurt their financial projections to where he's in the red and he's going to have a hard time climbing out. Now, that's just me. Okay? So with Larence Okolie's making a move. Eddie Hearn, they put a lot of money into him. They made a lot of money together. Eddie Hearn was hoping to continue with Okolie in Okolie's career, because Okolie does have a WBO title. And that matters because those belts are leveraged. Like I say, in business, certifications matter, and boxing, the belts matter. And I think Eddie Hearn just frustrated that Okolie decided to turn his back on him. But he didn't do it being nefarious. It's just an opportunity to make even more money. And Eddie Hearn's got to respect that. Even Eddie Hearn has said, respect the, what do you say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, or some shit like that. I don't even know what these young people say. But he's gone on there and he's kind of goaded people when he's in front of the microphone and said a lot of crazy things. But it's coming back on him now. Got to have thick skin in this business. So that being said, Larence Okolie, the lawsuit, who knows what direction that's going to go, but Okolie is returning this year to fight New Zealand to defend his WBO belt. Now, that's a fact that he's returning this year, but it's also a fact that Conor Benn is supposed to be returning the first half of 2023. Now, I have no idea what is going on behind the scenes when it comes to Eddie Hearn, Conor Benn. Conor Benn fell in the drug test, whether the WBC vetted the investigation, if they're going to come out and give a redacted a summary to the media, make it public. I don't know what's going to happen. But we all know that Benn was scheduled to fight Eubank Jr. in October. Is what it is, 30 years after the fathers have fought. But let me tell you, things fell apart because of the drug test. And this whole thing with fertility, some fertility drug that women use, I don't know, ovulate or some crap. But it can also boost testosterone in men over 300%. He's gone on to say that he was innocent. You know, he had the A sample, B sample, he had back, you know. He's just been failing tests left and right. You know what I'm saying? Even if they graded his tests on a curve, he would have failed the goddamn test. But now Eubank Jr. has nothing to do with Conor Benn. He's going to be facing Liam Smith 21 January. Benn's without an opponent, 26 years old. And to me, his future, to me, is seemingly up in the air. And he's still awaiting a verdict, although he's come out and told everyone across social media that he's finally been proven innocent, which isn't the case. But when it comes to Eddie Hearn, man, he's disputed the notion that when it comes to Conor Benn, the next step is unclear, but within 6 months, he has no doubt that he'll be fighting. Now, my thing is, if he's going to return this year, who in the world are they going to put him in the ring with? Who's going to want to fight him? Now, Hearn keeps talking about fighting Conor Benn and Gervonta Davis. Now, do you guys really think Gervonta Davis will get in the ring with Conor Benn? And if he was, how much money are they going to have to pay Gervonta Davis? And what kind of testing is both the fighters going to have to endure? Gervonta is not stupid. No one at this point is going to be naive when it comes to fighting any Eddie Hearn fighter, because Eddie Hearn knew that this man, Conor Benn, failed those damn tests and was going to sit there and hide it from the public, sweep it underneath the rug, and let Conor Benn go into the ring with an unfair advantage against Eubank Jr., who was melting all the way down to 157 pounds. I just did a video about what these fighters do when it comes to weight loss and how dangerous it is for them health-wise, especially the last day or the last 6-12 hours when these guys start going in cycles in a hot tub, a hot bath, cycles in the goddamn sauna. And then after that, possibly, taking whatever diuretic is legal to try to piss out what last little bit of water there is. Jeopardizing the function of their organs. Body starts to shut down. Not having a sufficient fluid around their brain. And then for Eubank Jr. to have a rehydration clause, let me tell you, Eubank Jr. could have died in that fight, man. Even though I think he's a better fighter. If you got someone coming in with unfair advantages, you had to grossly dehydrate yourself, and you're not allowed to sufficiently rehydrate yourself, and you end up with a vicious killer like Conor Benn, man, that's wrong. So as far as Eddie Hearn, man, he's kind of done it to himself. Like, he took his own steel-toe boot, he turned it sideways, and he shot for his own cock-a-hole, and it went in. That steel-toe boot was turned sideways, and he put his own steel-toe boot deep inside his own cock-a-hole. So that's Eddie Hearn's fault for being stupid. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If they're going to offer the big money, I have no doubt Gervonta Davis will take it. But that's the name that Eddie Hearn seems to be floating around. And I think he feels that he has the wallet to put the money up for a guy like Gervonta Davis. And I think he feels Gervonta Davis has the profile to where if he was to fight Conor Benn, the kind of money that Gervonta would want, that they would still make huge profits on the back end just off the name of Gervonta Davis, coming off the controversy with Conor Benn, and having that fight over there in the UK, where we know the UK fans will come out in droves to support an event like that, more so than what you'll find here stateside, unless you host that fight in the right city, right venue, right time of the year. So that being said, y'all keep cool. To my UK people out there, man, please shed some light, more light on Larence Okolie. I'm all over Conor Benn's issues, but Larence Okolie I just feel like there's got to be something more than just that contract. There's got to be something more than that contract. We don't get it. We don't have all the good gossip and all the talk over here in the media about a lot of the UK stuff. It's just what I can read. But to me, I think it's more than feeling that he couldn't talk to her. And I think it's more than just the contract. I think it's more than fights going to purse bids and him not wanting Matchroom to come now and win the purse bid. I think there's something else that was going on behind the scenes that many of us aren't privy to that would cause such a huge flare-up. Because if I've been working with somebody and we had a good working relationship, say I had an employee, right? And I'm paying them, I don't know, $100,000 a year, and they decide to go somewhere for $125,000 a year, and they're like, hey, before I go, I just want to let you know, can you come close to that? I said, yeah, I'll give you $115,000. They're like, all right, cool. We can keep the party going. But Okolie gets offered a much better contract. He comes to Eddie Hearn and says, hey, can you at least come close? Eddie Hearn just deads him. You want to leave, but we need 500,000 pounds. It's got to be something more than that for Eddie Hearn. And I already said, I think because he's in the red financially. But maybe it's something more than that. But if you know, please disclose that in the comments, because I will read it and I will respond. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Donate to the channel, please, and I'm in the breeze.